What is up, y'all? And thank you so much for checking in with me and Sleepy Boy. Sleepy Boy B. He stinks so bad right now, I really gotta give him a bath, but he hates the damn bath time. He's horrible. He's horrible. Recently, I got a message from some guy, and the message was basically telling me that he was really into this other dude. He felt like he was falling in love with him, and then he finds out that this other dude has a girlfriend that is pretty serious, and they've been together for, a good bit, and he's just kind of left like, what the fuck? A quick note I forgot to add, he asked me if he should tell this girl that this guy is gay or if he should just leave it alone and move on. So I'm going to share my thoughts with y'all are going to share them back, and have a nice little back and forth here. Alright, so if you have seen my coming out story, you know that I, during college, have had two groups of friends, Group A and Group B. Group A was my group of friends before I came out. Group B was the group of friends after, and Group A, those friendships didn't end well. So Group A was pretty much comprised of a bunch of, really southern masculine dudes and really southern conservative girls. And I'm not a big person for labels, so mask and femme, don't take any offense by me saying that. But these guys were the ultra mask guys that you sort of think of when you think of stereotypical southern guys. I'm not proud of having been friends with a lot of them. A lot of them that were really homophobic, and I listened to a lot of gay jokes, and it made me very uncomfortable. But these were the friends that I made when I first started college, and I sort of, it grew into a comfort thing. I knew that I had these friends, and so I didn't have to be lonely. Looking back, I kind of wish I would have been a little bit more open with myself in the beginning of my college experience, so I could have had a better, more accepting group of friends. Around this time, I really wasn't out, and I had gotten out of a relationship, so I was kind of in this in-between space, and I felt really alone. I felt just horrible about myself. I was very, very depressed, and I was pretty much dating like a man whore. I was going on dates all the time. I was just trying to sort of cure the loneliness. And during my dating life, it is no secret, I've talked about it before, that I've used many, many dating apps. Hornet was actually one of the bigger ones for me, because you can see more guys on there, because it's not the guys who are around you, it's not that type of location based. You can kind of type in a location and see guys from different places. So I saw guys from Louisiana, Mississippi. So generally, Hornet was one of those apps that I frequented because there weren't just fuckboys on there. There was Hornet had a little bit of everything. Grindr, I'd only really experienced fuckboys on Grindr, but I was into the more shy guys, more timid, a little bit, they're sweet guys. Those types of dudes were always on Hornet, but I never found them on Grindr, because Hornet they have more. I feel like they have more variety. You might have a different experience, but that's just how I felt about it. And so I was on Hornet one night, going through guys, just bored. Everybody knows how that is when you're just bored and you're going through, your dating apps. And I happened across a headless torso. By the way, here's my, I'll put it here somewhere, my Hornet picture. I was a headless torso. But I came across this other headless torso that looked a little familiar. It was one of these butch masculine guys from my friend group. What in the fuck? I was completely shocked. Didn't know really what to make of it. I kind of wanted to message him, but at the same time, I was scared shitless that he was on there too. And it shouldn't have scared me because he's on there, so obviously he's looking for he's looking for that too. So I decided with that I was gonna have a sort of don't ask, don't tell, and just put it off to the side. A couple of weeks later, we were having a party at one of my buddy's houses at the Retreat in Tuscaloosa, if anybody knows where that is. And everybody's, in the living room, beer pong, all that. It's pretty average party, nothing crazy. My friend, I need to come up with a name for him, Rob. We'll call him Rob. So this guy that I'd seen on Hornet, and I was pretty sure it was on it. You can't really tell. It could have been a catfish. Rob asks me if I want to go out and grab something from his truck, and so we go out there, and I don't even remember what we were grabbing. I think we were grabbing a second beer pong table. And so I go out there to help him, and then he asked if I want to smoke. I said, yeah. We're just kind of talking. It got really quiet for a minute, and for some reason, I just started thinking of it. I started thinking of him on Hornet, and I'm like, it's probably not him. Catfish. And then he says, do you know what Hornet is? I was like, fuck, what am I supposed to say? If I say yes, obviously I'm out at that point. I did say yes. I said yes, and we got quiet for a minute. We didn't say anything, neither of us, and we kind of just smoked. And we started smoking more than usual. Usually when we would go outside, we'd smoke a cigarette, maybe two. This time we were like just smoking one after the other. I think to sort of extend the time that we were talking, we kind of went back to talking about normal stuff. And then he circles back around and he's like, oh, so you didn't message me on Hornet? I said, I wasn't sure if that was you. Anyway, the conversation sort of went back to normal after that. It got really awkward, so I guess I think we both felt that. So the conversation just went back to normal. We finished up the cigarette and we went back inside. Now, over the next few days, we were both asking each other to hang out a little bit more than we normally did, because we were in the same group of friends and we were buddies and we saw each other a lot, but we never really had one-on-one time. So we were having a lot of this one-on-one time, and the conversations quickly, like by day one, started getting into sexual orientation. I remember bringing it up to him first, and I was like, so are you gay, since you were on that app? But basically, it's as the story goes, straight guy who is really gay, doesn't really want to come out because of religious family, all that. Like, and I understood that. So we kind of bonded over that. We bonded over both of us not being out, not really having anybody else. We never kissed, we never did anything, because I don't think we both felt it, but I did feel like I was finding a friend in him, and I was very, very happy about that. Now, fast forward to maybe a week later. Like, all of this was happening really fast. So a week later from when we'd been hanging out for like 2 or 3 days, I find out that this guy who has confessed his homosexuality to me, decided to start dating one of my close friends. And not a guy, a girl. So, like, of course, he and I talked about girls we dated before really figuring out that we were gay, but I decided, once I figured that out and realized in myself that I am a homosexual, that I wasn't going to date any girls, because it just wasn't right. But he didn't share that. He didn't share that same idea. And so he started dating my friend, and it made me really, really uncomfortable. Now, I ain't somebody to lecture you on how to live your life. I'm not going to tell you what's right, what's wrong, because we may not share the same ideas on that. But I did have a conversation with him when he started dating her, and when I found out, and I said, well, we'd been having these conversations, so what's going on here? You're dating this girl she is my friend. She's my real good friend, and I've known her longer than you. And he goes, well, man, I just can't be gay. I can't be gay, and I've just decided long time ago that I'm not going to be gay. And like, I really had no business talking at this point either. I wasn't out. But if you're not going to accept yourself, buddy, at least date somebody else, so that I don't have to be... This is me involving myself in this situation, but I felt like I was involved in it because I knew this information about him, and she was also my really good friend. So this is the point where I faced this dilemma. Do I tell my friend that this guy is gay? And if I do, how do I do that without outing him to the entire group? Because that was the last thing I wanted to do. It is your information to share, and he want that out. I was the only person that I knew of that knew about him. Now, before I tell y'all what I did, I just want to know what y'all would have done. So on one hand, you have this girl who's walking around looking like a dumbass because she's dating and sleeping with this guy who's gay. And on the other hand, you have this guy who is not out. He's closeted. He is not accepting of himself, which, a lot of us have been there. A lot of us know how torturing that is. And it's not right to out anybody. What would you guys do? Would you take the girl's side, let her know, or would you keep this guy's secret? I didn't tell her because I didn't feel right about outing this guy. So I sort of let it go, I dusted it off, and just hoped that it wasn't going to get serious, because I didn't want to have to intervene, because it wasn't my place. I did feel really bad for not telling her, and I still kind of do, because they dated a good while. But shortly after this, they all stopped talking to me, because I was a homosexual. Everybody but John. Love you, buddy. It did sort of make me think, wow, really, dude? Like, this guy who I'd confided in, and he confided in me, and now I was out to the whole group, and nobody was talking to me, and not even him. And I did text him a little bit extra, more than everybody else, because I thought that maybe he would understand. I had no friends at this point. Basically no friends. I was beginning my relationships with Group B. But I felt alone, and I felt really, really burned. I feel like I did the right thing by not outing him, but I do think it shows what type of character he has. He ditched me and burned me just like all of those other ones, and he was sharing the same exact secret. And because they all stopped talking to me, and this guy and my friend started getting serious, I didn't have to put myself in that situation, because you know what? Fuck them. So to the dude who asked me this question, and everybody else who's in a similar situation. The right answer is going to be what you can live with. And I'm going to leave a link to download Hornet down below, so if y'all want to go check out Hornet, you can, and you can sort of get your own experience with it. Hornet really ain't a bad app, so I suggest everybody go check it out if you're in the dating market. So I hope you guys like the story time. That's all I have for you today. I love you all. I love the responses we get in the comments. I love the conversations that we can have. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.